Hey, it's Adam at Arcade Galactic in West Valley City, Utah, at the Valley Fair Shopping Center, better known as the Valley Fair Mall. And today's look at a rarity amongst our collection that you can come in and play that only costs one token, one coin, to enjoy, so 25 cents, even though this is really, really hard to find, and I don't think any modern console has a port of this, is Hydra by Atari Games, released in 1990. And this game doesn't take up a lot of space, but this, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of sort of like Outrun a little bit as far as the style of behind the camera and sort of racing, but it involves combat. I guess maybe Road Blasters is a better one to compare it to as far as the style and everything goes. Of course, Road Blasters was influenced by Outrun, kind of Outrun with guns. But in this game, you control a mercenary who has to take whatever object it is that needs to be delivered. You're essentially a delivery guy. The Shadow is one of your enemies that you have to deal with, and you have to get the item to the location without running out of fuel. Now, what's really unique about this particular machine that we have here, that name that you just saw there, Dennis Harper, he was the guy who designed the game. He was the leader behind it. Of course, these other names here were all involved in creating the game as well. But as the lead designer of the game, Dennis actually sold us his machine, and so that's what this is. And that's one of the things that makes this super rare and unique, is that this model that you see here is a prototype model. On the back, which I can't really get to because of how tight everything is, it's a prototype model number 4, I think it is, 3 or 4. I think they only made 4 prototype models. Now, the game itself, if you were to find this is what's called the dedicated model. Dedicated model is when they manufactured this specific cabinet for a game. A conversion kit or just a kit would be something that would go into maybe something more like that and just go that way instead of being what's called dedicated. But thanks to dedicated, you have this specific molding and all that. But one of the things that identifies this as a prototype dedicated model is that the original dedicated models of Hydra, all this was in white, not in gray or silver. And they also had artwork here. We had to print our own artwork out here. It doesn't fit exactly. The light bulb inside doesn't work either. And so not only, but one thing to also point out is not only is this rare as far as this being a prototype, making it really one of a kind. We even had Dennis sign it. It's signed on the inside. That's something else that it's a little difficult to show. I'll see if I can get a picture and throw it into the video here. But back in 1990, when Atari Games released this, they only made 200 dedicated units for Hydra. They did something like 750 conversion kits that you could take and put into like a typical 80s, 90s upright cabinet like I showed a moment ago. But even if this was a regular dedicated machine, this would still be a rare one, but thanks to it being a prototype, it makes it extra rare. And so if you haven't played it, this uses the Atari yoke controller, and so by pushing down on these you can go faster. By pushing back that actually affects the aim. And so like this part here, it's like a steering wheel and turns it side to side, but if you want to adjust your aim up or down, that's why we're pulling on these back and forth matters. Speed, you have to use the pedal here. By pushing the pedal, that's also how you start the game. There is a little boost, which has become pretty common on today's racing games and such. But again, you're just flying down the river, shooting stuff. You do grab crystals for fuel or for boosts. You can grab bags of money that are flying around in the air on balloons. Once you get to the end of a level, you can also go into a shop and spend your points as money. or spend the money that you've collected to buy upgrades and other things. And so it's a cool game. The demo here is not showing very good gameplay, which is kind of funny. They keep running into everything instead of shooting it. But again, if you've played Road Blasters or you like Road Blasters, Hydra's kind of like that, but with water instead, and you can fly into the air and such. And this is also showing you the obstacles that you can't destroy, that you have to either drive around or jump over into the air. Be interesting to see somebody beat one of the scores. We haven't had anybody that's gotten close. Perhaps I need to reset them. But if you want to play a game where it has a unique controller, there's no home ports of this, there's been no remakes of this game, probably won't be anytime soon, because the company that owns the IP to this, it's not Atari. A lot of that's oftentimes confusing thing, is that even though it was Atari Games, the current Atari does not own all of the arcade machines that were released under the Atari Games label from 1984 up till, or the summer of 1984 up until like 2001. Those are all owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers has absolutely no idea what it is that they own. All they care about is Mortal Kombat. But they actually own all the Atari Games IP, like San Francisco Rush and Area 51 and this, and tons of other games. They own all the Midway IP and Williams IP, so Joust and Tapper and Cruisin' and also, I guess Cruisin's technically Nintendo, but there's plenty. Hydro Thunder would be one. Anyways, if you want to enjoy a rarity, another rarity and a prototype rarity, then come in and play Hydra by Atari Games. It joins various other rarities that we have. I recently talked about Pitfall 2 and Darius Burst Another Chronicle. We have other rare games as well, and we're not charging you a whole lot for it. Unlike most other places out there, we haven't raised our prices. And so even with all the inflation over the past 4 years and the recent trade war stuff, we haven't changed our prices. So if you actually want to save money, there's no entry fee, so we're not bilking you on that either. We're still charging you the same amount that this would have charged 30 years ago or 35 years ago. And so I'd say that's a pretty good deal, especially for something so unique and rare. But come on by and check it out, and we'll see you around.